It's impossible to truly grasp and appreciate the depth of a philosopher's work through just a few pages. This is especially true for the renowned German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, whose body of work spans across a wide array of topics that can't be quickly or succinctly summarized. Nietzsche left a monumental legacy of profound and provocative ideas about the human condition, proposing a new approach to understanding human nature. His work places particular emphasis on the importance of personal freedom and encourages rejecting societal rules to develop one's own values as individuals. One of the core elements of his philosophy is existentialism, which focuses on individual freedom and personal responsibility through acts of will. Nietzsche believed that true self-realization can only happen through accepting and embracing our individuality. To him, every human being is an artist of existence, shaping their life like a work of art, defining their own values and meanings when it comes to ethics, good and evil. According to Nietzsche, true freedom lies in overcoming internal barriers and fears, and the courage to challenge our limits is essential for rising above our weaknesses. Nietzsche gave significant importance to the individual and their place in the world, emphasizing the ability to transcend the limits imposed by society and the human condition. To do so, he argued, the first obstacle to overcome is fear that resides deep within us. In this video, we'll explore 3 essential steps in Nietzsche's philosophy that can help us conquer our fears and develop ourselves as individuals through the will to power. Nietzsche famously claimed, "Fear is the mother of morality." This statement highlights a crucial aspect of human nature, how fear influences our moral decisions and our views on what we should and shouldn't do, how we should think, and how we generally perceive the world around us. According to Nietzsche, the first step to overcoming fear is to change our perspective on it. Fear often holds us back from personal growth and limits our potential. It stems from feelings of powerlessness and a spontaneous resistance to facing the unknown. Nietzsche encourages us to think critically about how fear, whether it's fear of the unknown, social or religious punishment, or fear imposed by systems of authority, exerts enormous pressure on every aspect of life. It shapes the moral choices we make, our behaviors, and how we act overall. Fear, as a driving force that controls our actions, is deeply rooted in the psyche of every individual and embedded in the social customs and laws imposed upon us. Nietzsche takes it a step further by distinguishing between 2 main moral frameworks present in society, the morality of slaves and the morality of masters. These 2 opposing moral frameworks reflect the values and behaviors of different types of people who make up society. Slave morality, Nietzsche argues, is typically adopted by the oppressed, the weak, or those who are dominated by external forces such as society, religion, or the law. This morality focuses on humility, compassion, and submission, qualities that, for Nietzsche, are simply survival mechanisms for finding comfort and safety in the world. On the other hand, there's master morality, which represents values like strength, rebellion, courage, and the will to power. These are the values of those who define their own moral standards rather than submitting to them. However, Nietzsche believed that slave morality had triumphed in his time, in modern societies, and that it hindered humanity's potential for flourishing. This mentality, in Nietzsche's eyes, was the enemy of human creativity, leading to self-hatred and emotional conflicts. Slave morality perpetuates suffering rather than relieving it. Instead of empowering the individual, it brings about a denial of the self and fosters a passive nihilism. In our world, Nietzsche believed, this slave mentality has poisoned human existence, robbing life of its greatness and vitality. He predicted the arrival of the last man, a world populated by individuals seeking nothing more than comfort and tranquility, devoid of ambition and creativity. For Nietzsche, ethics should not be like this. He called for a liberation of modern consciousness from the burden of these oppressive morals, which prevent individuals from affirming themselves and embracing the beauty and creativity that give life meaning. Fear, in Nietzsche's view, is the root cause of the adoption of slave morality, the fear of punishment or social rejection that individuals face when they challenge societal norms. This brings us to the second step. Nietzsche urges us to transcend ourselves through the will to power that lies within. He challenges us to confront the herd mentality, what he refers to as slave morality. Nietzsche strongly opposed herd mentality, where individuals conform to society's beliefs without critical thinking. He believed we should question our fears and deeply reflect on their legitimacy. Nietzsche's concept of the will to power emphasizes the desire inherent in every person to assert themselves and gain control over their environment. But to let this will flourish, we must face the challenges before us and defy the limits imposed on us by society and by our own fears. This involves questioning societal norms, embracing discomfort, and recognizing that growth comes from stepping out of our comfort zone. Nietzsche saw fear not as a barrier, but as an opportunity for personal development. By facing fear head-on, we can push past the constraints that hold us back and embrace the individual potential within us. To illustrate this, think of Rosa Parks, who defied societal norms by refusing to give up her bus seat to a white man during the civil rights movement. Her refusal to conform made her a symbol of resistance against racial oppression, a bold act that continues to inspire. We, too, must show this kind of courage. For Nietzsche, this courage is what frees us from the herd instinct, allowing us to embrace our unique individuality and independent thinking. It's about confronting the challenges that terrify us and using them as a catalyst to become stronger, more confident, and more powerful than we were before. For example, imagine someone who is deeply afraid of public speaking. Every time they are faced with the prospect of speaking in front of an audience, they are overwhelmed with anxiety and a strong desire to avoid the situation at all costs. This fear stems from a potential embarrassment or failure. But through Nietzsche's lens, this person can choose to challenge their fear and see it as an opportunity for personal growth. Instead of succumbing to the anxiety and continually avoiding similar situations, they can confront the fear by reflecting on its true origins. They can ask themselves whether this fear is rooted in rational assessments or if it's driven by social expectations, insecurity, or a fear of judgment. Nietzsche believed that by analyzing these deeply embedded thoughts and fears, we can recognize that the initial fear may be exaggerated or based on irrational assumptions. This process allows us to challenge our fear and train ourselves to rise above it. For Nietzsche, confronting fear is an opportunity to break through the limitations we place on ourselves or that are placed on us by society. Nietzsche urges us to transform the fear we feel into motivation for developing our character, turning it into an opportunity for self-elevation. He famously reminds us that what does not kill you makes you stronger. The core idea here is that the hardships and struggles of life, although difficult, ultimately make us more resilient. Nietzsche's concept of the will to power is the internal force that drives all living things. It's a dynamic energy that pushes us to gain control over ourselves and our environment to assert our existence in the world. This will drive us to overcome the challenges we face, to transcend fear and limitations, and to become greater than we were before. After recognizing and embracing the internal strength we possess, and after questioning the foundations of our fears, we reach the final step, persevering despite the obstacles and contradictions we face. For Nietzsche, this is the ultimate act of overcoming fear, embracing our destiny, and crafting our own path in life. Nietzsche viewed the will to power as a crucial and necessary factor in the development of culture and society. He believed that the most dynamic and creative civilizations are those where the will to power is most alive and vibrant,